Hey YouTube, Mr. Majunix here again. Just wanted to take a few minutes here and sit down and just kind of reflect on why we prep, why we store food, and try to be a little more self-sustainable in our life. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. You never really know what's going to happen. And, that's a simple enough concept for people to really think about, but they don't really do anything about it a lot of the times. Seems like this whole nation is just raised with the idea that we're going to rely on the government for everything. And it doesn't really make a lot of sense. I mean, my grandparents didn't rely on the government for everything. They had their own farm, they produced their own food. They canned their own food so they could eat over the winter. They had a root cellar, they kept potatoes and turnips in it all year so they'd have food in the wintertime. It just, it seems like it's only these last few generations that have had these issues. And, I mean, I'm not an old guy, but I can see it coming back to that, where people learn to produce their own things. I can see the need for that arising, and I'd like to kind of have a head start on it. Also, with the state of the world economy, what's going on with that? I mean, it's just so unstable. Everyone wants to believe, it can't happen, nothing bad can happen to it. People are too smart. We don't know how this happens, but if you look at history, I mean, it's happened before. How can we be so naive as to say, oh, there's no way that this can happen, when you look at history and it's happened before, and they didn't see it coming, we don't see it coming either. Well, some of us do, but what are we to do about it? I was a real nerd, an actual computer nerd. I went to college for computer sciences, and liked it. I mean, I love computers, I love working with computers, but I feel the need to learn other areas now. I feel that it's, maybe computers, I can work with computers now and make money and things, but that might not always be the case. I went out today and I bought groceries and gas, and yes, I mean, it's ridiculous when you look at how much it costs now with the economy, and you can think, man, I spend half my paycheck on gas and food, but we have the ability to just go there and buy it, and I don't like to take everything I have for granted. I'm thankful for everything I get, and to think that, the day might come when you go to the store and either you can't afford it at all anymore, or the food's not even there on the shelves to be gotten. It's, regardless of how likely it is for that to happen or unlikely, it's a thought that has to be there in my head because it's possible. Just the fact that it's possible leads you to think, what can I do to protect myself from that? The same way anyone would have car insurance in case they get in an accident. Well, I mean, that's possible. It's not necessarily, really probable to get in a car accident if you're a safe driver, but you can't choose everything. You can't choose who else is on the road with you, right? That's not up to you. If someone else is an indecent driver and they're on the roads and they cause the accident, you're still in trouble. So you get insurance to cover yourself in that. I think of prepping as no different than basically the best insurance policy I can get, because when I have food stored in a closet, or if I have ways to produce my own food, create my own power, create my own heat, create my own, electricity to pump water, or, get a water source that I can pump manually. When I have these things in place, then I have the ability to use them, and they're my necessities. I don't have to rely on anyone else to be able to provide this. And that's an insurance in itself. It relieves stress. Nobody can take that from me, An insurance company can't go bankrupt and remove the ability for me to go to my closet and get food. I didn't always think this way. This is something I had my eyes opened and started thinking this way fairly recently, within the last year and a half or so. And a lot of it has to do with my daughter. When I had a daughter, I thought, how am I going to provide for her, regardless of what happens to the world? How am I going to have the assurance that I'll always have everything there, ready to provide for her? And that kind of opened up my eyes a lot. So that's kind of my thoughts on it now, as to, why I try to prepare. There really is a lot to it, but you have to start somewhere. And, you just keep going from there. It perpetuates itself, and find other like-minded people who can help you in your quest, I guess, to better yourself and prepare. Use it to protect yourself and your family. You don't know what's going to happen, and what does it hurt? What does it hurt to give it a try? You know what I mean? I don't have any issues with someone trying to help themselves in the future. It's there's always a possibility that something's going to happen, never an assurance, but it doesn't hurt. My grandparents had food stored away, and nobody really ridiculed them for that. So it's just, people think they rely on stores and food and everything so much.